I'd like to have some kind of goofy picture set up, but I kind of ran out of time. Okay, I like just finished dinner like 2 minutes ago. My brain had to just think. It's not 2020. It's been one of those days. And I know the only way to solve that, and that's alcohol. Tasty. Happy Friday. Nobody's here yet, but that's fine. I will talk to myself. Or anyone watching on YouTube when I eventually upload this. I've been really bad about that, I'm sorry. It used to be so easy that I could just, when I had my old internet, because it was a 1 gig upload, so I could drop a stream in there and take 20 seconds. Now, my upload is 1/100th of what it used to be, so now it takes like 20 minutes. And so it's, and then it slows down other things, so I'm really, really don't like doing it unless I just queue up a whole bunch at once. And then I just like set it all release day after day. But we'll try to do some more tonight because I think, how far am I behind on that? I got 4 that I'm behind on, so I will get them up soon. All of May. And I'm gonna probably bring it up again too because when other people are here, but the Winnie City was moved from a physical convention to an online convention. That's all I know right now. The details are very minimal, meaning that a lot of those panels are going to be done online. So I'm not sure what medium we're going to be using for that, especially if it's like still paid badge. It's going to be weird. So if it's going to be used on Discord or anything. So I'm not sure what I'll be doing on that Friday. That's July 4th anyway, but just a heads up. I mean, that's still a month and a half away. Yeah, it is. Summer's coming fast. Anyway, I think legitimately the only things I needed to do still on this entire video is her eyebrows and the crowd, which is pretty nice. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I think normally I was going to split this into 3 files, where I was going to have like this main render, and then the secondary render for the back group, and then another render for this group. But I think I'm going to split it in 4 instead. It's not going to be a difficult 4. It's going to be that this group right here is group 1. So if I remove these 4, don't really matter so much, but if I remove these 6, that is a lot of memory to free up. These 6 being gone might allow me an entire other group to be brought in, so and might speed up the renders. So I'm thinking about doing it that way, because masking this area off right here is super easy. So food's over there. There's extra rice in the rice cooker because I didn't. So it's like fried rice and regular rice, but who cares? Oh yeah, I never finished this group. I noticed because you can see which ones are the groups that are sitting still because their tails aren't bent down yet. I gotta do that. I can already notice that this is still starting to really lag. So I'm thinking if I get rid of this group, it'd be convenient. Plus, it makes working on a lot of these other ones easier, because if I I can save this file as like this group, and then delete, and then immediately save it again, and then just delete them from that secondary one. I said to be careful because you accidentally delete them in both files and kind of screwed. For now, though, you need to get all these tails where they need to be. Not a group. Hello. Huh?
Doing my favorite part of this whole season.
Tails?
No, all the audience voices.
All I'm really doing is the tails. They're all floaty. Why were they not baked? It concerns me. If they're not baked.
Trying to get the horses high again. I'm trying to get the horses high again.
Yes. I realize they're not baked, but I can still work with that. It's gonna make some of these a little difficult. I guess I can just yank that tail in, who cares? But then it's like, do I want to? Because if I bake them and I add motion, you're not gonna see it, but does that even matter? Let's leave it for now.
I did pick up. I did pick up more eggs.
Okay.
I noticed we're almost out. So.
I used them for rice. That's about it.
Yeah. I made a lot of food.
That'll work. Looks fine from that angle. She's just got a genetic disorder.
Her tail is not the right kind of floppiness. Needs to have better hair care products as well.
Yeah, see, this guy's baked. No, he's not. Oh. So apparently the male's jiggle bones are not actually set to jiggle. They're just there. You can call them jiggle bone. It doesn't mean they're going to jiggle. It's a process to get that figured out. I don't like doing the math to figure out jiggle bones. It's because like if I want to override a texture, it's pretty easy. I can just add it onto a I can put it in little files and pretty much just call it good. Reload it within SFM and it shows up immediately. But if I do that with maybe if you turn this way. But if I do that with the models, it doesn't work that way. I can't just override it within the software. The only way to do it is to because once you load it in, it's locked in. I can update the model, but there's no way to refresh it, so I have to actually reload SFM every time I make a change to a model. It's one of the annoying things when I was working with adding flexes to Rathalos. I had to keep, anytime I made any small adjustment, I had to make the adjustment in Blender, then export, then recompile the model, then reload SFM, just to see any change. It was annoying. You can only preview so much within Blender, at least for what this engine does. out of that chair. There we go. Be lazy with your tail. You don't need it. It's just fat-tailed people, which is all the women. All the women are fat-tailed. Or chub.
No, they got the foofiest tails, that's all. They got all the
You're not fat, you're fluffy.
No, their tails are fluffy. Yes.
They're fat. They need to lay off some of those that high-calorie diet.
Their tail's too big.
It's all going to their backside.
That's how ponies can eat all that sugar. It all goes to the tail.
Okay. Let's pull that in a little bit so you're not interfering with the next person. Alright, that's better.
A lot of this stream is just going to be rendering one scene and then...
I'm not rendering. No, I'm not going to render it here. Do you know how long it's going to take to render this?
Yeah, a while. But you only got to fill up the... You're just going to fill up the rest of that row, right? And then you're going to be ready to render?
Render one scene, but I got to prep the second file and the third file.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to... I just was fixing this because this was a half-finished thing, and I want to just check it, so I want to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get all of these new groups how they should be.
He's sitting over there by itself.
Well, I put him over there because I didn't want him sitting right next to himself. His other self is over here. Is that just 3 groups?
Actually,
Look at this.
went back and watched the part of the first episode of MLP recently, the very first episode.
Okay.
And they had the same characters, like, all over the place in the same scene, like, right next to each other. There were 2 derbies and, like, 3 lyras.
Because they don't have a budget.
They did not care.
Not that they didn't care, they didn't have a budget.
But the characters didn't even move in the shots. They would
They
just
didn't have a budget.
color one of them in 2 different colors. I mean, they did a lot of recolors later.
They didn't have a budget. When you don't have money. When you have a studio of only probably a couple people that put the whole thing together.
It's called the paint bucket. Yeah, you just splash a different color in there.
Yeah, but then you have to figure out the colors that match. And then that's probably also going to be eating extra processing when they can just copy-paste.
Fine.
You have to.
3 lyras.
You still have to rely on color theory. You can't just like hit random colors. Then you're going to be spending all your time figuring out colors. Then you have to get approval.
And then you just end up with a derped horse, and she's the best horse ever.
All right. So I need to grab this version of her, and it is set to that. Right?
She's still eating up RAM, isn't she? Just being there.
She's just a single one though. But if I delete her, there's a chance that something comes up that I need to grab something from, and then I'm screwed. So and I can't delete this shot because if I delete this shot, it's gonna cause other issues. So I'm just leaving it here. That's why I haven't touched it. I had it. I think it was with was it with Remembrance? I think somehow or another I got into negative time because I think if you drag this, if you drag it backwards, it just extends normal time. If somehow or another I actually got it to be in negative time, and the problem is I couldn't get rid of it. And
it bothered you.
And renders I think would only still start at 0, or I think the renders might have still started it at negative, but the frames numbers were wrong and would conflict with other things. It was causing me problems. But I couldn't get rid of it. There was no way I could figure it, because if you deleted it, it just shifted the entire thing into the negative. So I had to move everything, or I had to I had to extend the current shot out to the amount of time, then cut it, and then move the rendable range back to 0, so that there's this like area or a clip in the -3 range that had nothing. I just got rid of it. I just like it's just gonna sit there forever. It caused me so many problems. I don't know how I did it. I still can't figure out how I did it. Anyways,
the lost scene of remembrance.
Yeah, essentially. So these are all still grouped.
It's really good. I like it when you cook. Tasty.
And it's ready when you get home, and that you can just grab the food and sit down.
It is nice.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab her, but I cannot copy root. Okay, and okay, these are basically set up. Yep, I already did. Perfect. So I need to do some random ones. So I'm gonna grab this person. So for the first, I hit copy. I do it all the time. I annoyed myself that I do that so much. I'm like, okay, now I'm just going to paste it, and then I copy, and then I just go, oh, that was the wrong button. So then hit paste, but then it does nothing because I'm pasting itself on itself. And I'm probably going to do it again right here too. Okay, Control V. Perfect. Okay. Now I want to make sure that it's not breaking, that I'm doing the right copy. Okay. Oh.
I might drink some of that whiskey tonight.
Forgot. I need to, because I move the tails on them, I have to deselect root and the tails. None of the animations actually cover the tail anyway. I don't think there's any other stuff I have to worry about than tail. Alright.
Another nice day today.
It was a lot cooler earlier though. I had all the windows open and actually it was like cold in here for a bit, but now it's super nice.
I wore my coat this morning, but on the way home I was almost regretting it. It was almost too warm.
Well, then just don't wear your coat.
Well, it was cold in the morning.
I know, but when you're on your way home, just don't wear your coat.
It's a nice looking coat. Look better in it.
If only there was a way that it could cool off. Maybe get a thinner coat to go underneath this coat. What I think is going to be funny is I'm going to be so where's Darkness? Oh, he's over there, so I don't care about him. Some of these ponies on the edge here are going to be looking to their left, but there's nothing to look at. They're just bored. Sustia's speech is apparently nothing they don't care about. Just war? Meh. We went through this before. Ever since Luna came back, it's just been one tragedy after another.
I always kind of had a theory that never came to fruition on that she was actually causing all the release of Discord and Tyrek escaping and everything, that she was actually doing it. It made a lot of sense in my mind. But we never got it. We never got that. What would have been a cool episode. It always just kind of bugged me that she forgave her sister so easily.
It's family.
She dropped from the moon for 1,000 years.
She's just happy to be down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't her that, it was the nightmare that was causing it. It was her sister had malice, but still loved her sister. The nightmare took over, and it was the cause of it. So when she came back and the nightmare was gone, if she still maintained malice, then it would be showing that the nightmare really wasn't the problem. It was Luna.
Well, that's why she punished herself.
It's also love and tolerance in a girl's show, and you're saying that afterwards she should have been super angry about it.
In that girl's show.
Yeah, but it wasn't visible.
But the nightmare was Luna. If it wasn't, she wouldn't have punished herself for her actions, which
No, it's
was
just
dark in its own aspect.
It's people feel guilty for their actions even if they didn't have control of their actions.
No, it was always my headset. The only difference.
Your headset?
Yeah, for
Your head cannon.
it's not head canon. It's what I observed.
Your headset? You mean like
No. It was always Luna. Nightmare Moon is just her transformed state when she eclipses the sun. She has wicked mood swings. Is all that is. Like, I mean, the episode where Twilight sees the flashback of Luna becoming Nightmare Moon before she fights Celestia. I mean, it is Luna who's like giving the big speech before she transforms.
Yeah, but it was still in. She had the nightmare in her before she became Nightmare Moon. It's like saying, "Oh, I didn't have the flu until I actually sneezed and had a fever." No, you probably had it in you before then.
I feel like the nightmare is just.
That's all headcanon. You're just throwing shit out because it makes sense.
Headcanon. There's no indication that a nightmare exists.
Yeah, and there's no indication that it doesn't. You can't.
That's a negative, though.
You can't say that because it's not one, it's the other. When you can't prove either.
I could say the only reason Celestia isn't a raging psychopath like Luna was is because of some unseen force.
Or because she had most things and she didn't care. Mm. She had all the admiration.
I think it makes Luna a more interesting character though.
Yeah, no, but that's still your headcanon.
Against yours.
Well, no, I don't have a headcanon for it. Because I don't care. I go with what the show is. I'm not going to make up my own story.
There's no indication that there was some unseen force turning her into Nightmare Moon.
But you're saying there was.
No.
Or you're saying that there wasn't.
There wasn't.
Okay.
Because there's no indication of one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that there was. Or, it doesn't mean that there wasn't one.
Okay.
So you're saying that there can't be one because you didn't see one.
I'm saying there's no reason to believe that there is one.
Yeah, but it works both ways. So again, it's your theory.
I guess. I feel like other people are making things up. And I'm like, where's that coming from?
Oh, I need hoof lookers. Lookers. I know I said lookers, but then my head thought I said liquors, and that seems like a very equestrian thing. Mm-hmm. Like if they're trying to think of like addicts, like how do you put addicts in there? And they're like, oh, well, we have hoof lickers. And it's like sounds like a very yeah, they're creepy and they're weird.
Mm-hmm. Like hooves.
I think I might actually have too much.
Ponies do have cute hooves.
Oh, no, that's fine. Okay, I just need to create one or two conversations, probably two. So this is gonna be. We'll do right talk. We need to find two that aren't really doing much. Say you two. Oh no, that's a different group. These two.
Should we breathe?
So you are going to be talking the shit out of this person. And they're just going to be standing there.
Yawning.
Or sitting. So that is this person's looking to their right. So now I need to have the stationary.
Wait, you got people talking on both sides of them?
I can do that.
It's just like...
And they're just looking at their hoof. What's going on?
What's happening?
Okay, that's looking that way. So now I need to do the idle in this direction.
She's
just screaming.
Both talking at her simultaneously. It's like, hey, you're cute.
No, they're looking that direction. They're not actually talking to her. Okay.
I mean, a war debriefing does seem like a pretty good place to pick up a hot date.
Okay. I want to see if that looks legitimate. I might not need to do a secondary conversation. I think that it works. I'm gonna shift them and move them, and then I'll figure out from there. I'm like, these bookmarks aren't right, but it's because they keep shifting and moving with me.
I like the blue one. The blue one's pretty cool.
Okay, how does that look in the whole scheme of things?
Looks like a bunch of ponies chitting and chatting and not paying attention to the front of the room.
Because she's not talking yet.
She's the princess of the entire nation.
Yeah, but it's like
Somebody's finding
it's like
more interesting.
it doesn't matter that much. She's standing up there, but like at this point, it could have been that Luna was talking and nobody gave a shit.
Poor Luna.
She's like and now introducing the queen of our country, and as she's talking, they're just like, get off the stage.
Yeah. I will say that is part of my headcanon with Luna, is that a lot of the older, anyone who isn't a child, essentially, still didn't trust Luna.
That's a lot of. I'm actually.
Because they all grew up hearing the tales of the Nightmare Moon and everything.
I'm really surprised at how well it is running with that many ponies.
Well, you've done a lot to try to optimize it.
Well, yeah, I did a lot of stuff to try to make sure it worked, but even then, I thought it was still going to run kind of bad. Hello, Classic.
Hey, looky there. That's good.
I think I could add in even more animation for some, but I think I'll leave it. Yeah, that's the thing I needed to double check. For this group, is there anybody's motion that is too in sync?
It's pretty rad. I mean, and the one sitting still, I mean, that's just hard.
Yeah, there's some that are sitting still. It's,
which is fine. I mean, those are the ponies who took their riddle.
And it's like this. He's
just
hi. My name's Jeff. Actually, what is your name?
Jeff.
His name is Chocolate Mousse, and he is really like it on water lime.
What?
That's all their names. We have Michael Bay, Tommy Pot, Clumsy Muffins,
Clumsy Muffins,
Salmon. That's Salmon. Apparently, I just wanted to see the booty.
Yes.
Covenant Colonel. Shaking back up here. So there's a Covenant Colonel over there. Pinky Red. Radioactive.
I expect fan fiction of every last one of these
Bright
ponies
Thighs.
before the end of the day.
Puffy Poof.
Puffy Poof.
Plumber Jane. Moon Pie. Benicky. Daisy Lazy. Swiggles.
Yay, Swiggles.
Thunder Chuckles. this is Thunder Chuckles.
I like Thunder Chuckles.
Then Water Lime. Clumsy Reaper. Bob. Bapkins. Chocolate Mousse, and then over in the corner, Darkness Eternal.
Yay, Darkness Eternal. He's the hardcore one who doesn't.
But technically, as of right now, at least in this audience, there is 3 of everybody. So there is 3 Darkness Eternals over there, and there. I thought there was more than... Oh, wait, no. Darkness Eternal I don't think was put in...
No, I see 2 Darkness Eternals, please.
No, I thought I might have removed him on one group because I filled it up, but I see 3 of this guy and I don't see a 4th, so there might be only 3 groups. Well, actually, it has to be because the...
I mean, I tried to encourage him to put in like his OC, but he doesn't want to.
The base group is 1, and then this is 4, which means there has to be 4 groups, and one of them's off to the side, so that means there's 3 in the group.
Or, a derpy.
A hidden secret background pony. If I'm ever going to put a hidden one where that it's in the background and in hiding, I usually put myself, just because it's I like being able to point it out, but being that it's like impossible to see. My favorite still is...
I mean, once you figure out how much... Because you said yourself, the computer seems to be handling this really well.
I'm right there.
Dead.
I'm dead. So yeah, that's my favorite. Otherwise, I've also put myself in right there.
Friendship at the wrapping up of one time. Little pony.
I am also right here. Oops, I hit stop, not pause, because I couldn't see the button. Right here. I think I might have fixed it in the final, but there's actually a graphical glitch with the lighting here. You can see a flash.
Is it Derpy in a Wonderbolt outfit?
Yeah, it's right there. It was blinking.
Looks like Derpy in a Wonderbolt outfit.
Yes, that is.
That's wonderful. I spotted the Derpy.
I can't remember who she represents. The reason I put... No, okay, so she's supposed to play his father in some of the later parts, so I put her there.
It's Twilight and
who
does
that was.
Have a father.
Oh, it'll cut the music. I was going to try to look it up, but every one of the characters from within, I think
so you
this
had an
group.
idea for all of them?
So like within here,
I figured you just put a bunch of ponies in at random.
Most of these people in the actual anime are nobodies. They're just shadows off into a distance. All of these are actual characters from the show. Mm-hmm. And so some of these played parts within other parts. So because of Spitfire here, I had to make sure that in this shot she was standing in the spot that character was in this shot.
I remember who that character was.
I was trying to figure that was Armstrong, the Northern Gate female Armstrong.
All right.
But that was supposed to be Edward's father, so that's why I did Celestia, because I did Celestia on this part, which is where his father was. So that was trying to match it all up.
His cadence?
The one, I think the biggest complaint I had was when this scene is done, in the actual original, she's supposed to play Edward. Edward was here, and Al was here, and people were complaining to high hell that I swapped them, but I purposefully did it because Al was supposed to have the little panda pop up, I believe, or something, and there was nothing for Shining that matched that description, but there was for her.
Twilight,
so I had the Owlicious come up.
Whatever happened to Aloysius? He kind of disappeared after like season 5.
They don't live that long. So this she was the only one that made sense to have that group pop up. So Shining didn't. So I swapped them. Everything else is identical. This is also funny because I went into the detail of every mountain that is in the background there matched the mountain from the original. Every tree also. So in this shot, there is 3 trees there. One bigger, one smaller, and then one even smaller. All of these trees actually match up with the original. And if you actually go and look and watch everything, they actually are the original positioning. This shot was technically difficult though, because to make them do this color cross, I did 2 renders. One of them was where I set all of their textures to self-illuminate, so that, or no, there wasn't self-illumination, it was color override. So I just added color with a little bit of red past it, and it just made it red glow. And I did the same thing for Twilight. So I had to render once, and then when I went to go render the non-colored version, I just removed the override, and by removing the override, I removed that blue hue, and then I just did the masking so that when they crossed here, I just had the different renders change. The other thing that was annoying with this one was the eyes. To make the eyes colored like blue, I had to do a different type of thing. I had to have a blue light. So I had these groups of saved in the save file that was said like disable this before clean render or something, and it was because of her blue eyes. So that when I rendered the non-colored version, that I actually removed those blue lights.
That shot when she was looking at Ella Wishes that you had before you landed, she's like, oh, bird, oh, oh, there's a bird, there's a bird.
It's like, it looks like he's like swooping in to attack.
Oh.
The other thing that was difficult about the shot is something that's really, you don't even really notice. This whole thing is built to be like dusk. Mm-hmm. Or not dusk, daybreak, and the day is actually changing behind them. So this whole shot was super complex right here because I had to have the whole background actually look like the sun was rising, in match with the next shot. That was actually a very complex shot, and I thought it turned out really, really good.
And you had to put Spike in it, so that was probably annoying.
The other thing that bugs me is at this part he has this eye glitch. Because this is super zoomed in to get her to look that close, because she's not, for however close it was, it couldn't work with the blur. And so to do that, the eyes are broken. I know how to fix that glitch now. Now I can never go back and fix it.
Nobody else notices it, don't worry. You're all the only one.
Look at her eyes. It looks like they're twitching.
Does it? Oh, yeah, I guess I kind of see it.
It bugs the crap out of me.
I didn't even notice until you pointed it out.
God, I can point out so many errors in this one
Probably not.
to make this work. I love pointing out stuff like this. This is just a normal crystal, and I took a gobo light that had like these weird wavy things on it, and I just shined it at it. In Kieran animations, there is a model of a Kieran. I've never done anything with it though.
I mean, they are cute.
And so I just took those lights and I just vibrated them in front of it just to make it look like it's getting ready to explode and get brighter. But I couldn't actually break that model open, so I made this like particle effect that ended up breaking and ended up looking better because of it, of these little black squares. And in the original, it was about having all the tentacles come up, but I couldn't get that many details of the tentacle. Like, it was very minor little stuff. So instead I used this particle effect shooting up to just create more chaos. And using the tentacles, otherwise, this tentacles was the Everfree vines, which normally had crystals. I just removed the crystals from it. And I don't really like this too, because when he raises his head, the particle for his eyes went AWOL all over the place, and I just left it. I didn't care. It kind of added an aesthetic. That was, again, more chaos of throwing stuff just to add to it.
Thank you, Pony.
I don't think there's anything weird with this one. Animating it was a bitch.
I kind of want to go back and watch Full Metal again. I say that, but there's so many other animes I want to finish and start.
Getting these to loop together was complex, but I actually thought it turned out pretty good. For these shots, I just rendered it dark, rendered it light, and then I just turned off the lights during that part.
So here's an important question that I've never asked. Full Metal Alchemist or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood?
Brotherhood.
Good answer.
Well, that was the one based on the original. But Brotherhood's, to me, is is good because the first one covered a lot of the basic story, so they could focus on some of the better stuff in the
Only the
Brotherhood.
first few episodes really covered the original.
But they took some of the stuff from the other one and merged it into
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood has implications that you watch the first one.
Yeah.
Because they skip over a lot of stuff.
Well, they skip over the stuff that already was essentially made in the original or the first one. They didn't remake the episodes. So there were a few. There's a few episodes that honestly should just be spliced into Brotherhood from the original, just because they're part of the story. They decided not to make the same thing.
I was gonna say on this one, I can't for these teeth. I found like a model. It was just some long line of teeth or something. I think. I know I didn't put them together. I don't think I did it tooth by tooth. And so this is still the same tentacle that I've used for all the other stuff. The Everfree Vine, but it only has a couple bones at different, like here. So I had to attach them to each bone individually, and then when it was backing up, it just kind of jittered them. But it turned out pretty good.
It would have been amazing if their actual fight with Sombra was that intense.
For these rocks, it was each of those rocks is just a rock popping out of the ground, and then all of these little rock explosions is the same one I use all over and over again, which is, I can actually find it in here because it is. It's a super useful model to use. It's from TF2 when the bomb drops in the pit. You'll just see like a square of a bunch of rocks. But anytime I have rocks explode out of anything, or really any explosion, I think it's one of these ones. Yep. So it's this one. Because there is, if I go to sequences, boom, it's just a pre-render of a bunch of rocks exploding, and for the most part, they land flat. The couple break, and a couple don't land flat, but they're easy to fix. It's a 2-stage explosion, but that's also easy to fix. And it has an end position, but who cares on that? But what I'll do is I'll take all of those rocks and I'll manually move them all into a central location. Because they're all exploding outwards. As long as I grab all the time and shift it there, they're still all exploding. I'll sometimes make them all have, like increase the size on all, or add a scale to all of them and then jitter the scales so that they all are different sizes. So I'll just play with that a little bit to make it work for the situation. Or like in here, when some of these hit, I needed it to explode outward, but then I needed gravity to pull it a different direction, because if it's turning the whole thing, they're going to still go out and then come back down flat. It's about churning so it's a lot of modification, but all the physics is there, which is awesome. So I used it all the time. This one, it was just copy paste a whole bunch of them to go as they went. You can even see the repeat because I was lazy on it. If you look for this rock right here, you can see it. There it is again. There it is again. This shot was immensely complicated because trying to get all the glows and everything to work was difficult. I ended up having like super thin fog layers, like multi-layered, and to make it work, because I needed it to come through these beams but have nice dark areas, but if I went out too far it covered up itself. So it was annoying. Also, I don't know how Pony does that positioning, but we'll just go with it. Discord here, this was After Effects. I use the explosions themselves are SFM, but this like every time an explosion goes off, I use it's a compression circle, so it's a circle that expands outwards at a lower opacity, so it kind of takes and bubbles the video. But since it's overlaid on top of the original video, you can see both on top of each other, and it just fades out. So what it does is it creates this kind of like shockwave feel, and I really like how that turned out with that. So
wait, Rarity's in this video?
Yeah.
Why did I think that was Twilight for the longest? Up until this very moment, I thought that was Twilight. That's Rarity.
This shot was also very annoying. Trying to make them run down the back of Discord super quick, but also like still cut in.
Did you just see Spike's legs there?
To do some of these shots.
That was
so like this guy taking the sword up. This, if you actually watch him like follow him the whole time, that is janky as hell animation, but it's so quick that you can barely tell.
Who's Rarity supposed to be?
But I believe that's Greed.
Okay.
But this was just a very thin negative light. So it's a negative light made to look red. And so it darkened the area when it hit it. And the nice thing about that is I could have it set to a very thin width. And then as this came across, I could increase its width drastically. So it actually looked like it started here. And then I just had it increase the same speed as the sword. So it made it look like it was actually causing a gouge. This guy I love, because this guy right here, because he flies in, he does like a swipe at nothing, and then he just flies away.
Well, who are the bad ponies representing?
The two ninjas from the other country. The older guy and then the young girl with the robotic arm.
I'm gonna have to rewatch Full Metal Alchemist.
They originally were jumping over the back of Envy when she was in her bigger form.
Yeah.
And they were jumping over that, and so you still have to have those explosions from before, so that's why like they're causing the explosions, and then when this is the continuation of the explosion, then another one in the background.
I forgot there were ninjas in Full Metal Alchemist.
It was Spike is Mao. And then that's the Owlish is just playing as the little panda. That's why I had to swap the other shot, because I already established them here as what they were. The snow here is just, I found some like snowballs and I just have them clip up through the ground. And then just made a particle effect go up. The only reason I ended up using, I think she would have been better as Envy, but the reason I used her for Sloth instead was because Sloth was dark on the bright background, and nobody else really worked. So, I mean, now Grogar maybe work, but he didn't exist back then.
Envy. I'm trying to. Ooh.
Shapeshifter.
She would have worked well as Lust, right? Is what you were saying?
Who did I use? I don't think Lust was in here in this intro.
She was like the most prevalent.
But matching, it wasn't just matching a character based on personality. That was I only could do that so far.
Yeah.
This part I had to match by color. So when I put them here, it was about I needed somebody that was black and dark on that white surface.
I mean, she does work. She is
that,
a shapeshifter, so that.
This look, I just, it wasn't gonna fit with anybody else.
This is my favorite scene throughout the whole thing.
Trixie blowing up the ponies.
I mean, she's such a badass. She comes in like with a hat.
Well, they used Trixie for this scene because he was supposed to have a hat to cover the face, and also red magic. The freaking Alicorn name, it was perfect.
It was red magic.
It was absolutely perfect. These are the actual symbols. That was Gimli. What was his name? The guy with the booms?
The guy who created explosions? Or?
Yeah, he's the one that, he had the tattoo to his hand.
Oh, the guy who could, like, disassemble things. Scar.
No, that was Scar. No, this isn't Scar.
Okay.
This is the guy that's wearing the white suit the whole time. The other one.
Again, I need to rewatch.
Jeez, I remember it. Jesus Christ.
It's been like a decade.
But these, again, are negative lights that I just attached to her hoof. So it's actually a light on there. They're really kind of janky, but for the shot, they really didn't need to be standing out that much. But since they're a negative light, they're pretty dark here. But once all the other light kicks in, it kind of reduced how much they stood out. Electricity does not look good in SFM. I'm surprised that this turned out like as good as it did. But yeah, Trixie just murdered the crap out of them.
Yeah, well, the Wonderbolts kind of suck.
It's okay. They're fine. I mean, they are kind of like
be
gone.
A military branch of Equestria, and they barely got called to action. When they did, they immediately got like slapped.
Celestia's smoking a cigarette in this shot. You just can't see it. This was actually tough because I needed to show such a large distance, and I don't even. Ponyville is the only thing that worked because it was having this like central thing to stand out, but having it down at the bottom of a hill, it was difficult. I could not get it to work the way I wanted it to, and I just called it good at this point. This ground is 3 different lights. Actually, it might just be 2. I think it might just, I think it's just 2. So it's a light, a negative light, and a regular light. So you can see the regular light here and the negative light here. And when they overlap, they tend to kind of cancel each other out partially. So it created just that darker brown. But what it ended up doing is creating a very, very rough version of a bump map without actually adding a bump map to a map. Because this was this was about adding a big flat. I guess I can show it in a little shot here. This is an actual map. The ground is just a flat, sandy ground. So it didn't work. I couldn't actually add a bump map to it. All these in the background are just random ones I put down for rocks. So instead, I figured out that if you take a negative light and a regular light, just shift them a little bit apart from each other, it actually works as a really decent bump map. So that's what that is. But as they get further and further away, and the angle gets steeper and steeper, that effect went away. So as the camera goes backwards, it's actually pulling the lights slowly apart so that it's visible from further away. You can even see like when the light starts further away, it just starts losing quality, but it worked. And so I'll go with it. Other thing that's funny in this shot is their hooves to get this shot to work are enormous. They're like 5 times normal size. I'm gonna see if, you can kind of see it like before she yanks her hoof back. It's just huge. I just had it scaled down while it was off camera back to its normal size. And if you look, she's not actually animated turning around. She just slides into position because they're like doing this, and then she literally just slides around. But if you watch the actual anime intro, that's what they do too. They literally don't change their feet position. They just spin on spot. So I was like, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Alchemy powers.
Yes. So I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to, if they can do it, I can do it. This shot was a bitch to light because I needed it to be dark around these edges. Light coming down through the center here. So I have multiple negative lights that are, I could have maybe done it in After Effects, but I felt it was going to be difficult. So there's a ton of negative lights that are over here to darken the background, because then it makes it a darker red. It's not just black. It actually makes it like that amber color. So there's a lot of negative lights and then regular lights, but I had to also make sure that the only light that was coming down the center here was the one casting the shadow, because if it wasn't, the shadow wasn't going to show up. Oh, it was difficult. I think here, like some of the shadows are missing here, because you can see this long shadow here, but not here. Yeah. This, I couldn't think of what to break. There was supposed to be the door breaking. I just went with this because this was put together during Remembrance, his development, and Bearded Doom Guy had supplied this model to me that was made for breaking. And so I was like, well, this is the only model I have for breaking, so I'm just going to use it. So this whole shot is behind this model is a white volumetric light that is just shining up behind it to just blow everything else out in brightness. And the reason for that is it would create this kind of haze through it. And then I took another volumetric light and I put that in front of it that would get brighter. So like here, that volumetric light's now kicking in to get rid of the other objects. And you can kind of see right at the last second here, and it does that in the original, that these objects kind of fall away. Then this just comes right in front of the camera. I think at this point I turned off depth of field. And so I have right now a light lighting this object, but then to get it to the overlay like that, I just turn the light off. And I think I just decreased it to a slight haze instead. Since there's no light hitting it, but it's still in front of the object behind it, it was just a shadow. So that actually was pretty easy. And then them over here, just the same thing. They're just standing in the background behind this, just with no lights on them. But since there's a bright background and they're in the way of it, they just appear like a nice shadow. Kind of start from the beginning here. That's just replace textures. So that's really easy to figure out how to do. Oh, this one. I might need to open the file to explain how that one works. How to make a negative shadow. Nah, I could probably get away with it here. So if you have a negative light and you cast it on an object, it will make a negative shadow. So it's because it'll make everything else dark around it. That's how this was done. But if I do that, it technically still has to hit this object, which means that that object would be decreased in brightness, and it wasn't going to work. So instead, I copied this model, made it really tiny, and then positioned it off to the side over here and shined the negative light down, but turned it so that it kind of still matched with the positioning and what it looked like. The masking, and it ended up actually working. So that model was getting hit with the negative light, not this one. It's the same thing with him. And then to also make the black and white, I didn't have to do that in After Effects. There's actually you can add in SFM. This is little known stuff. If you go to Overlay, go to Add Effects. We're going to say Add Clip. We're going to say Color Correction Effect. Show an Element Viewer. I think it was this one. I'm sure it's been a long time since I did that. It might not be this one. I thought it was. Maybe it's not. No, I think it is Color Correction Effect. I just can't remember how you play with this file so much. But you are able to modify this to basically tell it to remove color and saturation. And it's actually pretty nice. You can do a lot of other things. Increase hue, change brightness, but I recommend just doing that all in After Effects because this engine isn't going to be doing a good job with it. And if you don't put the right effect on and need to change it, you have to rerun the whole video, where if you're doing it, change in After Effects, it's easier. This, I just left it because it was easier for me to make sure that all the contrast I had it was correct. This effect was not After Effects. This was actually done in SFM 100%, except for the color change. That was the only one that wasn't. Building this to come out was probably one of the most fun things to figure out how to do. So I have there's a water model, and the water model's round and has all these bones at the inside, and it's made it so you can make water uneven. So I just hit that model with a whole bunch of jitter so that it just threw these bones all over the place, and so they were very, very stretched out. And then I modified it so that light couldn't pass through it. So then it was it was creating or cast a shadow. And so I put that model in front of the light that was the negative light that was making this shape on the background, and then I slowly moved it through the starting range of that light, or the cut in, so it's right at the beginning of it, so it's slowly moved out of its visual range. And in doing that, because it was blocking it, certain pieces of it went through before others, and so these little gaps would come through and mesh and were warped through, and it was really, really cool. And the hardest part with doing that was trying to find the one that was even, because sometimes it'd be like changing certain aspects more, so there's a lot of like playing with the jitter and shifting it, moving it, trying to figure out like where's it going to be like pretty balanced across the board. What has been your hardest animation? Depends on what you call hardest. To to me, there's the ones that are like going to take the longest because there's just so much to do, but then there's the ones that are technically difficult because I don't know how to do some different things. Hello, Zest. Yeah, I was kind of just randomly was going through some of the ways I did some stuff. I would say that from a technically challenging aspect, it probably was this video because I ran into a lot of issues like, how am I going to put this many ponies in a shot, and figuring out the way to do the recoloring and everything, and that's stuff that I've used going forward. How to utilize negative lights for creating bump maps and everything. I didn't know how to do that until I was playing around with this one and learned. Twilight's model here isn't actually a mech version or a version of her model with a mech arm. They're two separate models, meaning that everything I needed to do, all animation, everything, means I had to keep jumping back and forth between two completely separate models. It was very, very annoying.
Does that mean there's a version of this video that's Blackjack instead of Twilight?
No, because everything is shrunk down.
A tiny little Blackjack.
Yeah, if I got rid of Twilight, it would just be floating legs.
Okay.
So I would say this one, or like this is also where I started playing around with using volumetric lights as objects floating in the air. So this is again another volumetric light that's floating, and the reason that was beneficial is it's made to be super, super, super thin, so it just looks like it's on the background.
Where'd you get
but
that?
Then,
The symbol.
Google.
Oh, okay.
It's the original.
So you didn't have to redraw it?
No.
Is that what it looks like? It looks like it would have been difficult.
No, but because of that, I had to have this kind of fly at the camera. That made it easy because all I had to do was just have that volumetric light's minimum range start coming back towards the camera. So it started getting brighter and everything because it is actually coming back towards the camera, and while it's doing that, it's getting thinner, so all the lines are getting wider until it actually comes and encompasses the camera. A lot of these shots aren't that difficult. I have a couple like sunbeam lights textures that are overlapping and just slowly shifting next to each other to kind of create a cool changing sunbeam effect. If I remember right, this was a bitch because it's supposed to be that it cut out to her being like an outline. To get that to work, when I rendered it, then I took the very, very last frame of the animation and exported it, or found that exact frame, brought it into Photoshop, cut her out of it, and then just locked it in as a still frame at the end of the shot. That was the only way I could think to do it. His footprints are individual negative lights, just made to be round, a little oblong, and just slightly a little bit of dark to make it look like a footprint.
And then you put it in After Effects where you make the footprints appear? In After Effects, is that how you made the footprints appear? Like all the footprints were already drawn out, and then you use After Effects to uncover them one at a time?
No.
How'd you do it?
You mean how did I make it so that his footprints were popping up as he went?
Mm-hmm.
I just had the light off until his foot was on it, and then I turned the light on.
It's a lot of different lights.
No, all these ones I didn't have to do.
Because they're just drawn.
No, all those lights are just sitting there, but I didn't have to turn them on or off. I just left them there.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of lights.
Yeah, I just copy pasted it. Actually, all you really have to do is copy or make those two, then copy them and move them. The only reason that this was difficult was the height change. So the light, I had to keep adjusting for the height to make it so that it maintained the same. But like when his foot, so like for like this spot right here, when his foot actually comes down and hits that spot, then I have the light turn on so that it becomes visible. This one was also fun because I had to keep a balanced light, but then I put a small negative volumetric light coming up the edge here to make this darker burnt look, and then another volumetric light that was brighter here, and the effect ended up being pretty neat, so I'm okay with that. Then I had to have him get hit in the face with a cloud of stuff. This was an annoying one. Definitely a green screen that I'm not very happy about. I created a flat green screen with long lights, but then I had to try to position them. I guess I could almost... No, you can't really do two separate because they're overlapping, but I had to have these super low, super direct lights hitting the back of Twilight, but not him. And then I had to have another one that was coming through and hitting the back of him and not her. But then they also needed front lights, so then I had to make sure that I had lights hitting the front, but not each other. So it was this weird, really annoying balance to figure out how to make that work. The back here with the green screen was a bunch of mesh, but mess of stuff, but I didn't care because it was about... I just masked that out. You're supposed to have the... What was it? What was this called? The tree of... It was the name for the this old tree about, like, it was the steps to take in life to reach godlyhood. I forgot what the tree was called.
Was it in the anime?
Yeah, it was.
Don't worry, watch that anime. I did watch it. I swear, it was just a really long time ago.
Let's see. It's
Eat your way to God. I just saw something that just said "Eat your way to God," and I'm just like, that sounds. Yes. That's when you put all butter in all your food.
No, it's
just die of a heart attack.
Is it the Kabbalah? Yeah. Okay. So here it is. So this was actually is an actual thing, but they used it in the anime, and that is actually what it is normally showing in the background here. And I just couldn't think of anything else, so I just used the stained glass.
Apparently, you can just eat your way to God. So why even bother with the tree?
To get the lighting to work with the green screen, though, with this shot, and to make all their lighting work correctly, the lighting got messed up. And the one thing that got the most messed up was their eyes. I couldn't. Their light eyes were busted. There was no way for me to use them, so I had to end up doing some. If I remember right, I thought some of these were green screen. Even with the eyes. It was really annoying. I can't remember exactly what I did to fix it, but that's why the eyes look strangely white, because they were just overly bright and are just ignoring light, because I just couldn't think of any other way to make it work. But the green screen made it so that the darker green of the green screen still made a semi-transparent shadow, and that's why it kind of made it work. And then up through the green screen, I just used one of the eyes from TF2, so I just had it come up through the eye, and then it just worked out well because the top of this stained glass was a circle, and it had Nightmare Moon, which then comes up later as being a villain in here. And then when the eye opens at night, it leaves those nice little like spikes on the outside. But this is from TF2. Was the eye, and made it really easy. And then we're where we started. So that was about everything for like the technical aspects of this. So like I said, there's just a lot of weird stuff. The text here was After Effects. The text here was After Effects, but the text here was not. This was actually put into the actual model. And then I just had to try to overlap them. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, actually did help me with the Chinese or for the Japanese on this to have it say Full Metal Pony. So that's actually what it says. I believe that these characters right here are Pony.
I like how Pony's just 3 lines.
But I think it was super cool because it was just on stream. Somebody was like, "I'll send it to you," and so they sent me the actual wording for it, and so like that's the actual translation for Full Metal Pony.
You're gonna find out years later, like somebody who gets like a tattoo of something in Japanese, and they're like, "It says peace and serenity." It says hot dogs, man.
Well, the only thing that changed was his very last word. All this was exactly the same, which means it was full metal. And unless this says penis. You know,
it does look like 3 penises now.
Nobody has said anything, so I'm assuming that somebody, if I had somebody on stream that knew the correct characters, that somebody would have let in the comments.
That's just a bunch of penises, man. Somebody drew penises.
The only other one I can think of that had a technical aspect was at the end here. This is I made for fun, but I brought up last stream how I did a lot of the
I do like
I did some of the camera stuff, but I did go to this, modify it so that it had a bump map. This is kind of a cheap bump map.
It looks good though with the bump map.
It looked, yeah, but you can still see like these errors at the edges here.
Well, that kind of adds character to it, because I mean, she would have had it carved in. So it wouldn't be perfect.
But to make this text move correctly with everything, I wasn't very good at getting it set up to do, what do you call that? Motion tracking. So I ended up instead, because this ending was supposed to be similar to how Marvel did their endings, where they would like have the close-ups of the characters doing certain things and like being epic, like Iron Man would do a lot, but then the text following along with. That was the point of this. I was inspired by anyway. But what I did was there's these motion tracking models you can download, which they're a green screen with multi different colored arrows on it. And so I placed those and locked them to the model at the positions that I wanted and did a really quick render along with the detailed good render. And then when I did that, because I have no idea how to do them, like set up automatic motion tracking, was I just four-cornered it. So what that is this was an actual like shot in After Effects, and I imported that shot into the bigger shot, added four corners, which allows me to then manipulate the positions of all four corners freely. So I put them at one point, and then I moved the video to the end of that shot, and I then matched it up with the exact point on the tracking model as it went around. Sometimes that was all I really needed to do, other times it wasn't. But the nice thing was it allowed me to do this, so that when it was flying away, I could still have it track behind. So because I had that model as the to pinpoint exactly where to put things, so it wasn't just the text disappearing. The text actually looks to fly behind it. I should have probably put on like motion blur with it, but then when the text comes in here,
oh, that's her leg. I keep thinking that's like a character in a hood.
Yeah, so the actual text comes in from behind too. This is my favorite shot of all these. That was the very Iron Man-esque shot.
Yes.
This was the one that was very annoying to do.
The way you did it.
Because it was rendering, it was taking this unrendered video file and putting it into this set piece and the background piece. So all the edits and everything were working through, and the background was being blurred with heavy modification. So this shot took forever. The rendering of this video took like 2 hours, and an hour and 50 minutes of it was for this one piece. Just because it was trying to render itself with itself with itself.
Yeah, you want another drink?
Because
I'm going to get another drink.
Nah, just grab me a Perrier.
Give me your can, at least.
I don't think this shot had anything special in it. Or like how this ended. How the camera was used was a little annoying, and I had to. This is the After Effects lens flare, having to like go frame by frame of is it clipping a pony, so that it went behind. That was a little annoying. Besides that, I was happy with. Actually, the ending is one of my favorite parts. So yeah, there was a whole review of that video that you didn't ask for. But if you do want to see details of how I did specific videos, don't worry about asking. I love going through that stuff because sometimes it reminds me of things that I did that helped me figure out other problems I'm working on, because they were just so many years ago that I completely forgot about it. So I don't want to lose that knowledge. Otherwise, I think this audience is all done, and then I think okay, so you guys 21. I think I figured this out last time, but I need to figure out how many chairs to fill. So that's 12 24. Would that only be that many? No. Yay.
Want a cheese stick?
No, I'm full. I had dinner. You had dinner. You had seconds.
It's cheese. Look, I haven't had hard liquor in a while, so it's going to be a crazy night.
Okay.
It's going to be a crazy night eating cheese.
So it's 21 ponies. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 17, 21. So yeah, it would fit up to here for that other group. And then this is another 16 after that. So it's a little bit more than a little under one more group because this model counts. And I would fill up to here.
So you want to do one more row after that?
If I do one more row than that, then I'm having a huge group and a much smaller group. But if I don't, I don't know. So how many ponies?
Are you going back to the third row or the fourth? Is what I mean.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this is 18 seats.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And 18 times 4 is 18, 36, 72. So, did I do the math right?
I don't know. I'm drinking whiskey. You can't ask me.
I'm going to double check it.
Math and figures don't go well together.
Yeah, that's the thing is, well, I don't want it to have it go to explosion. I haven't actually tried rendering it with the larger amounts, so there might have problems once I'm actually rendering it. So I want to get closer to it, but I don't want to go over it. But I also don't want to make it so that the back row is going to have so much going on that I'm just unable to, or I'm already going over what I need. So the idea is, if I have 72 ponies here, and then this is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 24, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So this is 32 times 4. So if I only go... Oh, no, I had this wrong. So this would be if I stopped at the end of this row, but I'm not. So that would be 72 plus... That's 7 times 4, which is 28. Which is that just 100? 72 plus 28? Yeah, that's 100. So, to be 100, I think that'd be pretty balanced. I'd be adding 30, and then I'd be removing about 30. So if I go one more row, they're actually about the same amount per. That's perfect. Okay, I thought... Based on how this looks, I felt like if I filled up this whole group, that there's going to be much more back here that was going to be needed, and I was going to be imbalanced. But actually, I think I am balanced.
You have to have the perfect proportions of pony.
Oops. Yeah. I cannot type apparently. 128 divided by 4. So that was 32 seats minus 7 times by 4. 100. Yeah, actually they're identical. There's the same amount of seats on both. That's awesome. Okay, that's perfect. That means that every pony that I have down, I just moved with another seat and that's it. Like I don't even have to add or subtract any. Yeah, actually we just went over the chemistry video too. The method that I'm kind of using for this is, or what I'm doing here takes a lot of what I learned from that video. That video is a big stepping stone for figuring out how to make large numbers of ponies in a single shot. That one, though, was about reducing RAM, but I didn't do the multi-render. I still did it in one shot, but if I'm not going to open the file, but if you look at the save file for that, there's 24, which is the 24 version, and 60 was the 60 FPS version. But what I like was the one called Massive. So what I think is funny about it is the entire animation for everything for the 60 was 72 megabytes. The Massive one with all those ponies was 107. I can't even remember why. It was annoying. All right, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to... I kind of want to prep these files. So this is, I'm at the point now, well, no, I was going to split this. No, I can still split it. Because I want to split it up into the 4 files now. Because if I split it into 4 files now, everything's going to run better. But if I need to change something between any of the different files that would have interaction with the other file, it would cause me a huge headache. But the only thing that would really change is how lighting is done. But I think I'm happy with how the lighting is done.
Couldn't add more lights if you tried into that one shot at least.
But Unreal doesn't have... Unreal has some really, really cool looking stuff, and it does have video, movie type options, but at the same time, its interface is not as easy to work with. SFM's great thing is simplicity. And I could go to Blender and have something look better, or I could go to Unreal and make something look better, but then I'm losing this giant library, and I'm losing all these tools that make things easy, so... And I don't... It's ponies. It's like, I want to make it look ultra realistic with cartoon horses. I think SFM works great for that type of thing.
SFM does seem to have taken well to ponies.
It's taken well because the artistic style in 3D of TF2 and the ponies are almost identical. Well, meaning that it's been built and optimized for an engine that it matches exactly what the ponies are.
I think ponies just kind of came around at the right time for Source Filmmaker. Similar to how, what was that, Akame? Thought worked real well on the PS2.
Well, yeah, because it was perfect timing for me because I started SFM 2 to 3 weeks before the release of the Naka models. So when the models went from meh to like really, really nice was immediately when I started doing stuff, which means that everybody's quality was jumping up anyway, just because of the models. So I was at this perfect sweet spot where everything I did looked like it was me that was doing it better, but it was just because the models were better.
Yeah. And you just have to get on them early.
Yeah. So I was in there at a perfect time. Now people are in there in a flooded market.
Oh no, we could always use more pony videos.
Yeah. The one thing I just wanted to double check here. Well, this shot doesn't matter, but I want to make sure, like, so the lighting between this shot and this shot does not match up. If you see Cadence here is lit on the side of her face, and it's the side of their face here, and then on here, they're dark on the edges. So this is the one thing that I have to have for connecting the two. Besides that, I think I can split them. And the reason I want to split them is if I do split them, I can delete all the background ponies in this shot with all these main front people, and it will make working on anything with them a lot easier. And I can then render this a lot easier, and then I can split that into 1, 2, and 3 for the audience. And then I'll just mask, 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 and mask. Well, this is going to be the easy mask. This is the hard mask, right? That's split. So it wouldn't even be that hard, I guess. The camera barely moves at this. But then I'll have like Celestia scream, and then I'll just have all these ones just fade away as they like say "What a world."
Now that you've figured out how to gotten good at putting this many ponies in a shot, your next video can be a pony avalanche. Just a massive avalanche of ponies falling off mountains, covering the villages below.
Having them. Have them
all like left faces.
But have them fall like I did at the end here with the changelings.
Yes. You just Dude, they wouldn't move. They'd be very stiff. They're just lots of them.
This is my favorite part of this whole video. And somebody just recently left a comment about it. Where if you watch, they're just stiffly floating, but like these guys just bounce. You can even see his horn pop up like below the thing here.
He really hit the ground hard.
Because he gets stuck. No, that is like my favorite part of the whole video. Is just them flying out and just bouncing.
It's kind of cute.
That and
Derpy, yes, she's princess. She's a good princess.
Just
Look at her.
Yeah, when she goes, wait, yeah, this.
I just noticed the companion cube.
Oh, it's busted.
Why is the companion cube there?
The companion cube was put there.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Because I wanted something to sound like Tropico Victory music. Like, because that's what I was kind of like going for a look. So because of that, I put the speaker here and it looks like a chord going away. And it's playing the version of, this is a Triumph. Yeah, but it's playing that like jazzy version that's on the alarm clock. And so because of that, I put the companion cube back there is because it's the music from that.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see Derpy put those not real princesses in prison.
I was trying to think of like, because she's taking over the nation, but I really don't have a throne. So how do I show them? Like, forget, we'll just put him in a cage.
In a cage. And Derpy just got like a computer chair. And a box.
It was. It didn't make any sense. It was super cheap. And these flags, I'd like put that whole thing in Photoshop in like 10 minutes.
Took you that long?
Well, I had to do like the color separation and then had to find a nice cartoon muffin.
It was a good muffin. Look at her face. She's so happy.
The whole video is just me wanting to animate a changeling doing like cute pinky and brain things.
It turned out real good.
The boom, boom, boom.
The boom, boom, boom.
And actually, I think his animation for that is just the Pinkie Pie bounce made really fast and short.
I remember you animating that.
This is a fun one.
You need to do more.
I just love
short, sweet.
It's just
cute.
He's just so funny.
You managed to make changelings cute, and that's not.
And I love this when he's like slaves.
He's really into this job.
The whole time she's like, yeah,
he's
take
just
that.
Like, I'm gonna let you take this one. She's so proud of her children.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, that's one of my favorites. I always forget I even made it because it's just like I can't remember how long that took. It was only a couple of weeks. I think it was like a 2-week video.
You didn't work on it too long. I remember watching it.
The majority of the time was just animating the changeling because he had so many very hard motions to deal with. But since he weren't actually, he had the land, and but then I stole the land from somebody else, and then I copied it, the one that I did for him, to all the ones behind them, and then just had to make them look around.
You worked on it for a couple weeks at least. Not too long, much longer than that.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. So I think, well, let me get. Okay, so this one is. Oh, that's the other one.
Wow, Syria. Wow.
He's going for a low blow.
He's a low blow. He's just jealous. Because,
Okay, I'm okay with
she's best princess.
this, but I don't want it spreading so far. Perfect. This is an Uber light. So I want to have it so that the light is hitting the desk, but I still want a pretty hard shadow there. So
I still love Syria. Well, there was that episode where Ember smashed Derpy's muffin to the wall, and you were convinced that it had to have been like Photoshop at first. But no, Ember went there and smashed her muffin.
okay, I think that works. Okay, so the light's hitting them, but not destroying that shadow completely. What?
I just thought about the phrase "smashed Derpy's muffin," Ember smashed Derpy's muffin. Ignore me.
You can keep living in the world that you live in.
It's a wonderful place.
I'm going to pump that brightness up a little bit. Okay, because the main thing is I want to make sure that the spotlight is really making Celestia stand out. That's the point of it. But I need to make sure that the others also have some light. And I still feel like they are not that bright. It's the difficult part here is the light's coming down here, so I can have that easily show on this angle. This one's coming right from behind them, so if I use the same positioning as the other one, it's not going to work. So it's about positioning it to where it does. So I think I have to move this around here, but this still doesn't even hit Twilight.
You should
I think I'm going to have to use another... I think I might be able to keep this one how it... I'm going to move it a little bit.
when you submit this video, when it's finished, you should just keep the camera at this angle the whole time.
Why?
Because it would be funny
No.
for them to get this video and it'd just be like, what?
I've already sent them a preview so they know. Plus, you know, it's a stream.
Still be funny.
Okay, and then... Can I use min? Need to have it turn off... There we go. Okay, so that works. Now, does Twilight ever lose her light? It's the danger of playing with min and max. Nope. So now I have a Twilight specific light. Alright, that's perfect. Okay, now I go to this shot. So this is why the frame rate's so bad. Twilight's is not as bright here. I think for this one I'm gonna pump it up a bit more. She's darker pony, like so. If I shine the same light on Twilight and on Shining Armor is going to make that light look like it's much brighter than Twilight is, which makes some stuff difficult because now I have to. How do you balance it? How do you make the same light look the same brightness on two different ponies? So, in this case, this side, I mean, she's pretty balanced in lighting, but Twilight isn't. Twilight's going to be a lot darker, where these two are lighter colored. She's okay because she's getting hit with those bright lights, but I don't want her to be bright, so it works out well muting her. But I think that's enough for the light, which means if I change anything on here, it's fine. The audience is the separate thing now. So, let me drop this here. I'm going to save this. So this is going to be the master file. And then I'm going to save this as stage. Audience 1. Yeah, it should be fine. Audience 1, audience 2, or audience 2. I can't quite do audience 2 yet, though. I'm going to delete that one. I have to finish the full audience in the first one. Okay, so stage in audience 1. So now I want to make sure I'm in audience 1. Okay, so now I can't change anything. I can't change anything for any objects that cross over like any of these major lines.
Darn.
So now I'm in audience 1, which means that I can remove and delete everybody up here.
Can you change the guards still?
Those guards back there, no. These 4, gone. Desks, gone. I'm going to keep this main thing up here. Just getting rid of some of the other stuff. And then
think
the
that
podium.
sign eats up a lot of memory.
No, not really.
There's a lot of polygons.
The ponies have each 10 times more polygons than that thing does. The main surface here, this whole big flat background is maybe like 7 polygons. It's the left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
stars.
and then the back is probably 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11. Each star is
The sun's
one.
probably a lot, isn't it?
See, I go and say
circle.
one. You say one thing, so then I go to refute it, and then you immediately go, "What about that one?"
There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, but those ponies are all circles too. Each of those ponies is going to take way more than this thing is. There's just certain things I don't mind getting rid of, but the mainly all the stuff on the stage there, I feel like I can. It's still going to be slow because those really didn't make a difference. But that's only that shot. At this part, actually, we're just going to mute it. I think that they might keep them in memory, but at least it's saving on processing. And then up here, we'll also do Celestia delete guards. Delete. Delete. So these are all unique models. That's why I want to get rid of them. That frees up the ability to add a lot more, or by way of the megabytes of memory. They're freeing up some stuff. So this would be audience 1. Now I always just make sure. This is why I made a master before splitting these up. It's because if I go and save over the animation, I'm kind of screwed. But that won't be the case now. Now I can do the full audience. So what I'm going to do is take this base audience and delete them. Oh, look at that! It's already running better.
All those poor ponies.
But that only, in terms of memory, it might take a second for that to maybe clear out, but it only removed like 100 megabytes. They were nothing compared to the main. No, I deleted them because I don't really need them anymore. I'm going to...
I remember this.
I'm going to say screw it and copy paste stuff. So we're going to go to our audience, and we're going to grab this group right here. Actually, as long as they're not talking across that group, we're going to grab, because I have...
You know how I know this is a perfect world they're living in? All the ponies are roughly the same size, so there's not like one tall pony who's like blocking the view for all the ponies behind them. I always get stuck behind that guy. Like, why did I have
That's
to
just
get
because
stuck
your
behind
life
the
is a
guy who's
mess.
like 7 foot?
Yeah, but that's not his fault. He was born that way.
Yeah, I know it's not his fault, but why me? Why did
But
I
you were
get
saying
stuck
it's a
behind
perfect
him?
world where everybody's the same. You're just...
I'm just saying it's a perfect world where you don't have to sit behind that guy.
What about being that guy and then having everybody always complain to him that because he's tall and he can't do anything about
That
it?
guy's living in the perfect world. He can see over everybody.
I know, but that means that he's also going to have people saying, like, get your head down. He's like, I can't take my head down.
Well,
Like,
then chop it off.
Think about Adam.
Think about him. You know he lives that life. That life where he always sees everything but has to hear about it.
Okay, so put that in here. So let's grab these two, maybe. Sure. Bam, bam. See, this is so much easier to do it this way.
Just go to Adam. Be like, Adam, your height is unreasonable. You need to stop.
I have reported you to the government. They might do testing.
What is with your tallness?
And we'll grab...
It's the opposite of the why so small.
I've already used that one, so what about those 3?
You only grabbing 3 at a time instead of 4?
I'm trying to fill up the seats around Eternal Darkness. I wanted to keep him in there because otherwise it's going to drastically reduce his count. I think at this rate, I could potentially fill up every seat all the way back. I just do not feel that that would go well. Hello, Maelstrom. How are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Unless I just have a horrible memory. Okay, now I feel it comfortable doing that. So we're going to grab these 4. Or I guess 8.
Hello, Maelstrom. We're playing with ponies. They're fun.
Good, thank you for clarifying. Like, that's... Like, nope, we're not playing with ponies. None at all.
I'm glad you admit you're just playing. Those cute horses. Don't talk to that horse. He's a jerk. I can tell.
Who should she talk with?
Who's next to her? I can't tell who's on the other side.
Okay, so I can fit them in their seat, but these 4, freaking Babkins and Bob have to be adjusted. I think the curvature is tighter at the beginning. Okay. Because you grabbed those 2 groups. Now let's grab these 2 groups. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I might accidentally grab the bone of one other one, so I want to make sure when I grab these that I'm grabbing them where I'm getting 8. And when you do the circle grab, I'm not grabbing all the bones, so I want to make sure I grab them all. Nifty little trick for rotating groups like that. If you want to do a nice tight rotation from a central spot, and you're like going around here, and you're like, oh, it's hard to get that little end bit. I'll just grab it, and then I'll drag my mouse way out here, and now small little motions are even smaller. So I'll just do that, and then I get much tighter rotations. There. Just a little pro tip. So you can just be like, go from here and then like grab this, go off on your other monitor, and now you can just do these little teeny motions. Okay, so I just need to fill up 3 more chairs. We're gonna grab.
Might be a chance to add in your OC. But you push over there and then see. We do put them in there. So
if I was going to put my OC in, what I would actually prefer doing is taking a guard out, putting him in the armor.
I'm kind of wondering if you do that, scope would be cool.
No, but then you're looking at a scope creep.
That joke, no.
Where it's like, well, we're looking to do this. Oh, but you know, it'd be funny if we do this. But then we can do this. Then we can do this, and then eventually every pony's unique.
You just wanted to make that joke.
No, I didn't realize until I was saying it. What I was saying. Maybe this group. Yeah, that group would work.
I mean, we do need at least 5 derpies in this shop. But,
if it was about just making unique,
You could have a few characters in there and it wouldn't lag things too hard. Like a few recognizable characters in the crowd.
nah, I like having the nobodies because it just makes the crowd easier to work with, and it's just a bunch of random people, and maybe this group right here. Hold on. I'll make sure that this isn't noticeable. Okay, from this angle you can't. Say from this angle I can tell that this group and this group are the same.
I'm just imagining Lyra in the crowd with like a beer helmet and that one hand, that number one hand, just waving it.
Yes, murder! Yay!
And everybody's clapping.
You're just clippity clapping.
They're going bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
Okay.
Or should I get another whiskey coke?
Whatever I tell you to do, you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do anyway. Considering that you're normally just like probably by like 8:20 you're gonna go rest your eyes and then be asleep until 4 or 5, 6 in the morning.
No.
When you wake up and figure out that your door's open, your light's on, and you're just sleeping with your head cocked sideways against the wall.
It's happened.
I know.
But at least I'm still wearing my clothes.
One of my favorites was my old roommate, before my sister. One time had drank so much, he just disappeared for a while. Then I looked and you could see the light from the bathroom was on down the hall, and I'm like, the hell? And it went in there, and he was like laying on the floor, sleeping like against the wall in the bathroom. I'm like, he just passed out. I had a picture, and then I lost it.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's blackmail.
I'll admit to drinking a bit and lying on my bed for just a second, and then that second turns into several hours.
You admit, like, you've only done it once?
I've done lots of times.
Yeah. What group can I grab now? I have 5 of the yellow-haired guy. Maybe Darkness here?
Yellow-haired guy does kind of stick out, doesn't he?
Yeah, the yellow-haired guy?
Yeah,
that's why I'm trying not to grab him again.
You got 2 of them right next to each other.
Yeah, but when it looks like it stands out more from this angle, but as soon as you swap to the other one, it's harder to see. Geez, I feel like I could... Originally, I wanted to put these chairs tighter together, because then I was like, oh, this is going to be too many ponies. But then the problem ended up being not that having them closer together was going to create too many ponies to deal with. It was for this shot. How are they going to stand up? So I can't move them any closer.
Ponies are wearing pants.
Okay, for some reason, those tails look like they're standing out more than the other ones, but... Okay, so how does this look? It looks like an audience.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like actually you could probably have more of them talking. But... Is there any noticeable repeating? Nope. Okay, and how does this run with the lights on?
Slow.
It's still above 2. My goal was to not drop below 2 FPS for normal floating like this, but it's not going to matter. Because if I go and say, oh, I can do another row, who cares? Because if I go one more row, I have to go all the rows. I'm going to have to split it anyway, so I might as well split it down the middle. So I think that makes this save file good. Except for now I have to...
Do it there.
The difficulty is there's already ponies here. So it's figuring out which ones I need to copy on the other one.
Can't you just, like, drag all the ponies from the other scene and this scene and then just have them all in the stand-up animation?
But if I grab them all, I'm going to be duplicating these ones.
Just delete all those.
I could, but I already did work on them. I could redo it, but I think that when I imported these, they're probably going to be all from the bottom. So if I go and check here, it goes all the seats up to 6 from the top on the second row.
I shouldn't drink it.
So I'm going to grab...
You want another drink?
No, I'm good. So I can see here... Oh. I think I might have just randomly selected all the ones I wanted. Nope, I've got a... So I need this one. Not that one. Not that one. Need that one. Need that one. Don't need that one. So I need this. Oh, nope. Damn. Oh, wait. Well, that's I can just do this. Okay. So I've touched every model that needs to be included. It's going to be a little bit of clicking, but... I guess I could have selected the largest group first, but... It's just there's so much animation going on down here that it's all trying to overlap for every ball. And if I happen to click right between two of them, it'll deselect all of them. Oh, yeah, this is most of the ones in the bottom. I could have just made this easier on myself. Oh, it's auto-saving, I think. There we go. Okay. I'm like, did I crash? No, wait. I had to go 6 in from this. I had this wrong. I need these included. Yeah, these are all in a row. That's what I was thinking it was going to be. Because if I had that set up with only those ones, it was probably because it was a group that was added later. So, okay. So, copy. Go here. Paste.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to go over here. Grab okay, so it's from I need to make sure I actually grab the correct amount of time for this. Okay, and no root. I think all the rest is fine to grab. If I go here, and then we say, where are you? There you are. Okay, so we'll grab that and paste that here. And are you dancing? You
Dancing.
It's male though.
He's dancing.
It's male, Michael. You can't be that happy about this.
Dancing.
Okay. Now,
I mean, it's not cute, but it is dancing.
now that I got the timing I want on this, I'll go paste. Paste.
No.
Everybody stand.
Look at that cuteness. Look at that Yanni pony. She's cute. No, not standing.
I think I can just, yeah, I don't. I'm in the habit of saving the the modification layer by just double tabbing just to lock it in. I guess I don't actually need to do that here. Just my brain's telling me I'm doing something wrong because I'm not hitting that. The difficult thing with this is all these that I'm moving, or I'm putting this all for here, but when I go and do the second shot, like move everybody to the back, I'm going to have to actually redo all this work for this one because I'm not going to be able to move these ponies to match up with that shot because I don't know which seats they're moving to. So I'm going to have to copy and paste all of this again. Okay. Are we dancing?
Dancing, dancing, yeah. Watch them dance.
Well, except for right now.
They're all in unison.
They're all in unison, yeah.
They're marching Pone Army.
But that's why we're going to grab this. We're going to then... I can skip the first because the first one's fine. We're just going to start shifting here. Go rest your eyes.
No. I'll be right back.
Uh-huh. He's gonna go take a nap. So this will cause variation in probably should start getting a little more drastic with some of these moves. Yeah, this will make it so that they're not all going in unison, but even then you can still, even if they're all mistimed, you can tell that they're all still moving similarly. Hello, Alco. Like here. What is that drop? That's probably a blink or something. That's fine. And so the reason that this goes much further than I actually need for all this is I can then... So now everybody's timed differently. But that doesn't make them still feel natural. Some people are faster than others. So we're going to just grab most of our time here. And we're just going to say shift small, shift out, shift smaller. So this is just to make it so that I don't want every time the same pony, the two next to each other, rocking back and forth in rhythm. This will break up rhythm. Doesn't have to be much, just about being subtle. But I don't want to do it too much because I'm already kind of at a nice little middle ground between going too fast and too slow. So if I go too fast or too slow, it's going to look like they're either defying physics or they're on drugs. And then there's one other move we have to do after this. There's one thing I'm going to have to do to also save on file space. Where I'm going to truncate everything into the shot. Because right now it's going to be... I'm saving memory and processing on all this animation that goes outside of this area. bottom one. Okay. So now they're all going to be going at a little bit of a different speed. Okay. Progress. Now the other thing to do is to change their alignment. So move this one a little bit over here. Move this one a bit over there. You stand closer to her. You're going to stand more forward. More to that. So this is about, I probably should rotate a little bit too. So this is about making them feel like they had stood up and everything's just a little different. Because otherwise it doesn't feel random. It feels like a copy paste. We don't want copy paste. Especially since at the angle that we're going to be seeing a lot of these at, it's going to be straight through this aisle. So you're going to be able to see like all their noses. So especially for a lot of these, I want to, these like 2 rows here, I want to start moving people forward and people sideways. You can't really move them backwards. So this shot is only as easy as it is. I mean, this is just a lot of work to get this kind of finished up, but it's still easier than it could have been because I did the prep work. So this, I've mentioned it before, one of my favorite quotes, and it's actually one that's on the wall at work, is, I think it was from Einstein, where he said, if I had an hour to save the world, I'd spend 55 minutes of it defining the problem and an hour developing it. So, 55 minutes solving or defining the problem, 5 minutes solving the problem. So that's kind of what you could say I was doing here. I knew what the problem was, and so I was trying to do all the prep work and everything I needed to do to make that solution as easy as possible by making all this copy pastable animation, setting them up where I needed to, so that when I actually was ready to move forward with things, there's a lot less thinking that I had to do. I could just start copying and pasting, and all my time was saved. So in this case, that's what I did here. Pre-make the animation ready to copy paste to it by removing the root, and then I just go copy paste and do what I'm doing now. I'll keep you the same. Darkness, you will stand forward. You shall be the brave one. I don't want to make them all step forward though, so I gotta like this one. I'm gonna have this one. She's gonna be like kind of turned that way for some reason. She's good friends with that one. Keep that one the same. So I don't have to change everyone. Yeah, you're pretty good with it where you are. You're gonna step up. You're gonna go up a little bit. You're gonna go that way and turn. Actually, I'm gonna pull you backward there. Keep them the same. So this person's got a nice lot of room, so I'm gonna make sure like he's gonna take advantage of his lucky seating arrangement. Well, it still feels kind of robotic, but it's better than it could have been. The only thing that would make it not robotic is to add different types of cheering, or some people sitting, or I don't want to do all that. It's different to make idols while they're sitting, but to do different types of full animation, I don't want to do that. It would be annoying. I think that's actually fine. I think it'll work. Now, it's about moving these in with these. And now I'm going to clean this up. So we're going to go down to this one. I need to clean up this animation. I'll drag this slow because it's going to be doing a lot. So the reason for doing this, cleaning up these edges, is all of that animation is taking up file space, so it's going to save like a good couple megabytes in the save file. And it's just, sometimes it pre-rolls animation, or some parts of it are, so it's some of it can be processing back here when other things are going, so I'm just cleaning it up. It would make this difficult if for some reason I need to change anything, like timing. The nice thing is I can't, if I need to add a second, I should actually be able to just take everything that's going on here and just extend it by a second. It'd make them just go a little slower, but whatever. Oh, and that only was some of the ponies. I need to finish off the ponies. Pinky Rose was the last one. There we go. So I'm using this shot to figure out where the spot is, and then I'm going in here and this. Thank you. I do not have the corona. Well, the chances are I think they said like 25 to 50% of all Americans will eventually have it or something like that. And I'm pretty sure worldwide it'd probably be that way, or even higher. It's about just spreading it out. But at least I'm not in a high risk situation, so. Okay. So now in this one, yeah, this I thought there is animation going. Can I just do them all at once? My computer's gonna hate me, so we're gonna save it. So I dragged it and I'm waiting until it highlights. Okay, there we go. So I know I have the full bar, because if you only get partial, then you're still saving some animation there, and if anything is left behind, it technically is no better than leaving the full animation, really. So if I hit it within, it's just locking it so they stop moving at the end of the shot. Okay, so I had just saved it before doing some of that. So this file size, you can see the backup, or no, so the DMX is 35. And if I save this, it's auto-saving right now, I think. If it's not, oh, I thought I crashed. Maybe I still did. I don't know what it's doing. Might not have liked me selecting everything. We're just still trying to process something. It's like, it's might need to force quit. I want to give it a second though. Sometimes it just needs to think. That's all I needed. Okay. Now though, so 35. Now if I save it, 33. So I saved like a megabyte and a half of stuff being processed just by cutting off some of these end bits. Good. Okay, I think that's good for audience 1. I'm not going to do it right now, but then this would entail taking audience 1 and shifting them, moving them group by group, probably in like groups of 2 seats at a time, moving them into the back seats. Now that I know it's the exact amount, so it's about moving all of them. I don't have to redo anything. They're all like now truncated how I need them. Then once they're moved there, I will have to remove everything to this shot, which would be the messy part. But Barry's okay. So okay. So make sure that's saved, and we're gonna go back to stage. Okay. Now the benefit of having everything moved is I can get rid of the audience. Okay. Oh, look how much smoother it runs now. So that audience is gone. That didn't affect anything up here. This audience will also be gone. Okay, now double check. I'm saving stage. It's a good habit to be in. Double check if you're splitting up files, which ones you're saving. Now look how well it runs. Look at this. I'm running at like 20 something. Let's try on the lights here. Wow, it's like 3 times the frame rate. Thought those chairs were floating for a sec. I do wish that I had something more in like this aisle, but there was nothing that was going to work. If you were going to try to put like a path there, these are condensing down to a central location, so you need something angled, and if I needed to do that, it'd probably be scaling to some awkward size that it would just look weird. So I'm like, fuck it. No, I'm not going to put something together manually. So yeah, it's like I can watch with the lights on now. How does this one go? Oh, right. Yeah, so you look on at that audience. Yeah, look at that. She's just like telling her speech to nobody. I could even, for this shot, get rid of the chairs if I really wanted, but I don't need to go to that kind of detail. Alright, so in this shot, all I really have to do is her eyebrows, which... I do not want to do these. Oh yeah, they're dancing because they're applauding. Because with the audio.
Destroyed Thus the Hive, source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Would you like to know more?
Except for Twilight, she's kind of doing like a sad
the Hive,
version.
Source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot. Destroyed. Source of the changeling invasion that destroyed Canterlot.
It's creepy. There we go. Well, I was trying to figure out what to do with people on their desk. I decided that they were going to be simple. They were going to get a notepad and some water. Same thing here, notepad and water. But Twilight was going to probably be overprepared and brought books and more paper and more books. Great unanswered questions. Advanced math formulas and applications. A look at human-computer interaction. Oh, that's just the same book again. Yeah. So I felt that she just needed books, so I just threw a bunch of stuff in for her. It's so nice just being able to fry. All right, eyebrows. I feel like I want to keep it. Like right now, she's kind of showing anger. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to figure out the emotion to do with them first, and then the motion that would go with them. So like, I feel like through a lot of the beginning of it, she's going to be... I have also a feeling I'm going to get through this, and I'm just going to get like frustrated and stop caring, and start just deleting them and not even caring. I've done that multiple times with eyebrows, because that's eventually my face after working with eyebrows. Okay, so I want to get a feel for these. I don't use them very much. Angry. Thick angry. Never going to use thick angry. Sad I will be using. Sad small. Difference. So sad small has more a rounded curve at the front. Sad normal is a strong curve at the front. So okay, surprise actually does come in handy. So I think I'll be using angry, sad small, surprise not wide. Maybe concern, probably not. Okay. So I think it's just angry, sad, small, and surprise. So it's only 4 I have to worry about. She's not going to be sarcastic, and some of these other ones are just very minor little differences that you're probably going to just do the same thing or similar by just adding. Like sometimes it's just add like a teeny bit of sad that gives you the curve you need, or a little bit of surprise to have it pop up. That's it. Who cares? You don't need to go like the full bar. So at the beginning here, I'm gonna just get rid of angry right now. So we're going to probably go with sad small.
We must meet the threat with our valor.
Well, actually, I wonder if I should start with anger.
We must meet the threat. We must meet the threat with our valor. We must meet the threat with the threat.
So I'm gonna have the anger drop. I guess I need to go 0 because it's gonna. If I grab this and go down, it's going to actually go below negative, which I don't want to do. So I need to go 0, because that'll always bring it to its minimum point. And we're going to go a little bit of sad small.
To meet the threat with our meet the threat with our valor. Our valor. Our valor. thread with our valor, our blood. Our blood.
So I want to think stay more in kind of the sad range, because she's basically telling people that they need to go and die for their country. So
Our blood. Indeed, with our very lives. To ensure.
and then have when she goes to ensure, then to get angry because she's getting serious about why you're dying for your country. Yes.
Our blood. 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 Blood.
She's Luna's a big fan of the blood.
Our blood, our blood, our blood, our blood, our blood, 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 blood. Indeed, our valor, our blood.
Just have confetti like our blood.
Indeed, with our indeed.
How was the nap?
It was good.
It was a nap.
It was a nap.
Indeed,
A few minutes is all you need sometimes.
indeed.
Sometimes you need a few more minutes.
Sometimes all you need, except for when you don't. Seems like you needed a few more.
Hey,
Where's your glasses?
Damn.
Every time.
I'll be back.
Might as well just take another nap while you're up there. Every time.
Indeed. Blood, indeed, with our very lives. With our very lives. Very lives. Very lives. Very lives. To ensure that. To ensure that. To ensure that pony civilization. To ensure that. To ensure that. To ensure that ponies. That ponies. That pony civilization. Civilization. Pony civilization. Not changeling.
So this is going to be a lot less sad, a lot more angry.
Not changeling. Rules equestria. Changeling. Rules equestria.
I'm soften it a little bit.
Changeling. Rules equestria. Equestria. Changeling. Rules equestria now. Equestria now. Equestria now. And always. And all now. now and now and always. Always. And always.
Okay, then I have her lighten up on the anger a little bit.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces Celestia.
I need resolute. So I'm gonna go a little bit like.
Her Highness Princess Celestia announces plans for a counteroffensive against the.
Okay, I think that should work. Hey, you got him!
Yay.
You haven't came back, I haven't heard the garage door close and then like 5 minutes later open again for like a week.
Wait, did I open up the garage?
No, to where you were on your way to work and then go, oh crap.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I did fall asleep with my keys in my pocket. Now,
Like recently?
like I do all the time.
Are you asleep now?
Oh, half and half. This might all be a dream, I don't know. I'm just happy it has horses in it. I thought you were done with that.
Eyebrows. So the one thing that sucks with eyebrows is I don't want to do them separately. I want to do them at the same time, but they're on opposite sides of the head. So I'm going to see if...
What are you talking about? I had an amazing nap. Why wouldn't I want to do that again? Naps are the best.
Meet the threat. The threat. We must meet the threat. I must meet the threat with.
Okay, so now when her eyes are closed, I have to have the eyebrows come down to match with the eyes. So it's again trying to, so there's the eyebrow there and there. So if I line them up on top of each other, it means that if I rotate this blue axis, they should be on the same plane. So the hope is that whatever I do on this side matches the other side. If it doesn't, I'll just go clean it up. But let's go like that.
Sure do move around a lot.
Well, whenever an eye goes to close, the eyebrow head, I mean, when you close your eye, you're just going to pull your eyebrow a little bit, and when their eyes are that big, it's saying that if this is a piece of skin and this is a piece of skin, and their eye closes, there's something in between those. So it's about closing bringing the eyebrow down. Watch the ponies in the show.
Now, a lot of times they don't have eyebrows.
No, they do. They're mixed and combined with the top of their eye. They're combined with this. But when they open their eye, it's like it's pixels, so they just have it separate from that piece, which is usually what I do with here. If I need to hide the eyebrows, like on a blink, I'll just have it combined with that black line and then have it sink into the head so it's invisible. But it's a lot of like a frame by frame animation.
I'm wondering if any new episodes have come out since I last checked.
Meet the threat with. Meet the threat with our valor, our blood. Indeed.
So a lot of this is the same. So what I can do with this, so right now I'm just doing the major positioning. So where is the two bones? I got there.
Getting drunk can be fun.
There it is. I keep losing it.
She going la la la.
Why am I not able to see the other one now? I guess I can just... if I do that, it's still not gonna work either. Yeah, that's weird. Doesn't seem right for positioning, but I will have to go with it.
So did you the other two
There it
thirds
is.
of the audience?
Oh, I see what I was doing wrong. No. I'm not gonna sit there and do the copy-paste stuff like that forever. I have to let go of the mouse to see it, I think. There it is. Oh wait, no, I don't see it again. Oh wait. I think that's on top of each other. It's not. There, okay, that worked. Close enough. So for this, I'm going to pull it back and rotate it up.
Eat the thread with our valor, our blood. Indeed,
Oh, that concerned
Okay.
face.
thread with our
They're like going back and forth, getting ready to say something. I couldn't help but just think, hey, yeah. She's just singing.
our valor, our valor, our valor. With our valor, our valor.
Okay, so this technically goes up higher and then squeezes down a little bit. So I will try to simulate that. Where are you, other eyebrow? There you are. So now this should go up a little bit.
Valor, our valor, our blood.
Now the nice thing with some of these is, since I haven't really changed anything for these, I can just go, bam.
Our blood. Our blood. 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 Our blood. Blood. In our blood. Blood. Blood.
Wait, I grabbed that wrong. I have to grab it from this.
Blood. Blood.
It's clipping a little bit, but that's fine. I can go through later and fix that.
Blood.
Right now it's about figuring out the details of it and if it's working.
We must meet the threat with our must meet
Okay, so she's a little too angry at the beginning here. So instead we're going to take all the eyebrow. We're going to play head. Not that. Oh, this. I want to play this. That's what it was.
we must meet the threat with our valor.
I was actually looking
We
okay.
must meet the threat with our valor. Our blood. Our valor. Our
All I know
blood.
about this song's got a
Our blood.
I can't hear the music.
I don't know. I mean, there's this one's obviously like floating there. That's fine, but I feel like some of them are. I can do. I think I have to mute them a little bit. So in terms of positioning,
we must meet the threat with our valor, our blood, our blood.
okay, I think that works better. It was just moving, I think, too much, so I was subtlifying it. What was the song that's playing? That I believe that is John Kenza. Yeah, it's John Kenza Lifebox.
It's got a Trixie on the picture.
John Kenza has a lot of really good ones. I have them on my list for a couple. This one's really good, but the other one I love from him. Did we play it earlier? No, I think it's to come.
Your playlist is longer than I thought it was.
This is like 300 songs. I have to go through here though, because there's like 15 or 20 that are showing as not playable because the person removed it or something. That's why I no longer try to grab for like Prime Cronus or Trailer Music World. I use them to find the song, then I go and find the original artist and you grab from their channel because more than likely they're going to keep it up. Alright, won't let me go any further down the queue. Oh, I don't have the other one from John Kenza on here because it wasn't really this type of music. I can play it next though. It's Heartfire or something, or Heartfire. It's one of my favorite songs from him, or from the Pony Phantom. He plays it live a lot at conventions. Yeah, sorry, going backwards. Taryn, yeah, still working on this. The only thing I'm really finishing up with is the eyebrows, and then once I'm done with the eyebrows, I'm good.
Then you got
see here. Yeah, this is Heartfire. I love this song. And playing live is really, really good too.
Our blood, indeed with our very life. Indeed with blood, indeed. Indeed, our very.
Just ignore the clipping for now and fix it later. Because this is going to take actual rotating it to fix. I went off for a second there.
you just barely get that song through your headset, and it just sounds like somebody's rocking out to an accordion really hard.
Rocking out to what?
An accordion. They're just going hand on an accordion. what it sounds like.
Not many times in life I'll ever hear the words "went ham on accordion."
Accordion is right. That means love that gets. I'm taking it that Surya is not a fan of the accordion.
Probably not. That was done.
Why not?
Jump back to the other playlist now.
Lives to ensure. Indeed.
I don't know about you, Surya, but I've been partying it up during this quarantine. I went to the store.
Ooh.
Then I went to the store, and then I came here, and then I went to the store.
We went and got mead.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
I know we have went out and done that.
Yeah. Do you remember? Remember when we went on that adventure? None of them were ponies, Surya, so I did not fool anyone. If any of them were ponies, though, I would have been ponies. And been arrested. So I would have tried to throw them in my car. It's just good that they're not real. I can't remember what it was, but I remember watching somebody in a video like, unicorns are my favorite animal when they're real, which is never. It's like, do a fit. It's like, eh.
No, actually, I verified with the person I'm making this for what she's supposed to look like. She's supposed to be going along with it for the being supportive until towards the end, where she starts talking about that Equestria is for ponies only, or basically being xenophobic.
Not changeling. Rules Equestria now and always.
So that's why she looks a little surprised there, then confused. Same with Twilight. Cadence is supposed to be kind of nonplussed about it.
Princess Celestia.
Kind of looks at her husband, then looks back out to Celestia. Where Spitfire doesn't care as much. She's just military, does what she's told. And then he's just thinking about hot dogs, so he's just not really doing anything. But no, I got verification as to how they're supposed to react to something, because it's based on a bigger headcanon, and I wanted to make sure that all that matches up with stuff that continues on from here. So I had it about right for what I was thinking it should be. At least for the other two. Luna I wasn't sure of, but I now know the direction I'm supposed to go.
It kind of matches the show early on. Like the mindset.
Look at this. She's so pleased. She's like, oh yeah. Oh. Oh.
Questions.
Oh. Do you have questions? Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh no. See, this is what quarantine does. You're wondering. Get serious now. What's happening? I'm afraid now. It's horrifying. No. Felicity gets what she wants. Uses the face. No one can have. Why is it? I'm looking at the regular camera, and her head has gotten very large.
Well, how do you think I've been moving it?
Just been making it bigger. No. Oh no, the body horror. She's eating her own booper. No. That's hot.
You can't see me, John Cena.
No.
We must meet the threat with our valor, our blood, indeed our very lives.
Celestian might be a changeling.
To ensure that pony civilization, not changeling,
see.
rules Equestria now.
This is a
Everything is up. The mouth is up too.
Very lives. To ensure that pony civilization.
I don't know how far back to go.
And always. Meet the threat with our valor,
I think
our
I'm good
blood, indeed with our very lives. To ensure that.
She did get slapped with a shovel every day for 20 years.
Would explain a lot.
About this or just Celestia?
Celestia in general, yeah. I can imagine that too. Just her being like thousands of years old and just like 20 years.
Very
she just
lives.
smacked herself in the head with a shovel every day because she was just tired of everything. She just wanted to see what would happen. Crap would get weird if you live that long.
Our very lives. To ensure that.
I think it's
To
gonna suck
ensure
about
that.
not being able to live 1,000 years. I'm not gonna be able to see the whole Marvel expanded universe.
The main story's done.
Iron Man wasn't everything.
Yeah, no, but the main MCU universe is done. No, I mean, there's going to be more from here, but
They're gonna start a whole new.
It took what 20 years or something to get to where they
and
are.
they're gonna keep going.
They're going to keep going, but it took that long to get to the big finale
There's
ending.
gonna be another big finale when Spider-Man's like 40. That's just the way it's gonna be.
No, they already did that. It was Calling to the Spider-Verse.
Oh. No, I hope that was amazing though.
That was a good
Just a
film.
fat, sad Spider-Man. Like the whole scene with Aunt May was like when she's looking at Peter.
Yeah, May was great.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's like you look tired, Peter. And
To ensure
those sweatpants. Because it's essentially just the same Peter, except like 20 years into the future. And he's just let himself go, and his life is just gone to heck. So his aunt's passed away. She's just looking at him, and she's like, oh,
to ensure that
what happened? That was a good movie. If you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, go watch it. It's good stuff. Probably the only good thing from Sony Pictures as far as Spider-Man's concerned since
to ensure that
Which I do think Spider-Man 2 is still better than any of the new Spider-Mans.
to ensure that
Homecoming
ponies
and Far From Home.
lives to ensure that ponies
Never saw Homecoming yet.
Homecoming.
ponies civilization
Nothing as bad as those new Spider-Mans that Sony's putting out. The Amazing Spider-Man movies. Those were awful. Oh yeah, they're gonna introduce, yeah. Now that the expanded Marvelverse has like the X-Men and Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four all back. And I heard Deadpool's gonna get added in. They got a lot
to ensure that pony
There's
civilization
a lot more Marvel movies to come yet.
we must meet the threat with our valor, our blood, indeed with our very lives, to ensure that pony
It's gonna be hard to
civilization,
top
not changeling, rules
Endgame.
Equestria now, Equestria, and now
Build-up was long.
and always. To ensure that pony civilization,
Better villain in MCU than
our very lives.
you think.
Yeah, I don't know what direction was Sony was going for stuff. I'm thinking they were looking at it as a single movie. About what made a lot of what Marvel did that was great was that they had all the movies crossing over, and when you had other people from the other MCU movies coming into all the other MCU movies, it just made the universe feel super expansive, and I love that about it. I think the only one that really never did was like the first Iron Man, because it was like the very first one, so there was nothing else to have in. But after that, everybody started crossing over, and there wasn't an MCU movie that didn't have 2 or 3 other of the MCU characters in there. It just made every one of them feel like part of the same thing, instead of like, we're just going to make Spider-Man, it's only Spider-Man. So that's what I liked about it.
Very lives to ensure
I
that
think the only
pony
issue with a lot of
civilization.
Sony movies, as far as Spider-Man is concerned, too, is because they're on contract that if they don't make a Spider-Man something, if they don't do something with the
Not
property, like every 2
ponies.
years, they lose the rights. So they'll put something out, even if they know it's not going to be very good, just to hold on to the rights. Pretty much what Venom was them just holding on to the rights. That's all Venom was.
That pony civilization. That pony civilization. Not
So you're gonna get lots of
Changeling.
Spider-Man stuff from Sony in the near future.
changeling. Not changeling. Changeling.
Use it. And that right now, as long as they have it, they can use it as a bargaining chip.
Not
with,
changeling.
for lots of money. And they'll-
Changeling. Changeling.
Worth $2 if they can make more stuff like Enter the Spider-Verse, I'm fine with it.
Was that Sony?
Yeah.
That was a studio that made it as great as they did. Sony gave the direction and the funding, but the studio's the one that made it awesome. Put all the small little details into there. If anything, it's amazing that Sony let them.
Well, I mean, Sony probably doesn't care as long as it keeps their
Changeling.
contract valid
Changeling.
with Marvel.
Changeling. Rules. Changeling.
They'll probably rent out Spider-Man to anyone as long as it gets the Sony name left on.
Changeling. Rules. Changeling. Rules.
I have no doubt that they'll be trying to negotiate with Sony for the rights to complete prices.
Quest. Changeling. Rules. Changeling. Rules equestrian. Changeling. Rules equestrian. Rules equestrian. Rules equestrian. Rules equestrian now. Rules equestrian now. Equestrian.
There's just something that feels off here, so I'm trying to figure out how to make it look the way I want.
Equestrian now. Equestrian now. Rules equestrian now. Now. Rules equestrian now. Equestrian. Equestrian. Rules equestrian now. Equestrian now. Now. And all. Equestrian now and always. Equestrian now and all. Now and always. Now and all. And all and always. Now and always. All and always. And all and all. Equestrian now. Rules Rules.
Luna's not a fan of the red.
Rules equestrian now. Changeling. Rules equestrian now. Rules Rules equestrian now. Changeling. Rules equestrian now. And always.
I think I'll just keep with that. Alright. But I will not be able to finish this today. I will have to finish this next time. But not all that much more to kind of clean up. I'm up to about there. But I'm going to have to go a couple passes over that, I feel. Because I'm not 100% happy with it. Maybe like 50% happy with it. And I'm getting to that point of like, hey, get rid of the eyebrows. I don't care. But it does add a lot. So I'll keep it.
You were back and forth on
now.
that for a while, or whether or not just to delete them.
I hate eyebrows so much. It's just another. Does it add detail? Yeah, but it's just it's another thing that makes everything take longer. Can't seem to get the phonemes on the overall model. I don't know. I don't use phonemes. I use all the individual flexes. I don't touch the phonemes. If you're talking about phonemes, you're talking about like the pre-made flexes that have the sounds specific to sounds instead of look. I don't use them. To me, sound is fluid, and so even a single sound usually has a difference at the point of the sound, how it goes into and how it goes out of it, even though it ends up with the same sound, usually by just having something more towards the beginning and something more towards the end. So I don't touch them. So if they're broken, I don't know. But anyways, I'm over. I was a couple minutes over, or late starting anyway too. So I'll be back Tuesday. I'm gonna see if I can finish up some of those other shots so I can render those shots with the ponies very quickly, a very low poly render or low pass render, just to test the masking. And then the cool thing is you can do a quick pass of it, do all the editing, make sure it works, and then when you're good to go, you just render it again with the higher pass and overwrite the originals, and then in After Effects just reload the files, and voila, it's all done. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do that this weekend, but I probably won't. I know myself. So yep, have a good one. Have a cat. There he is. And meow meow. And have a good weekend. Stay healthy. Bye.